blessed day to every one of you. By the way, my name is Hanson J. Marfendes Mole, and I am your reporter for this day. And for today's discussion, we will be tackling about economic growth versus economic development. But before anything else, let me present first my two objectives for this discussion. The first one, at the end of the discussion, the students will be able to define what is economic growth and what is economic development. Second, the students will be able to differentiate between economic growth and economic development. And without further ado, let's proceed to the discussion process. As you can see here, there is a term, development economics. Though this is not really part of my discussion, but I included it because this is really important in the discussion of economic growth and economic development. Development economics, as per definition, is a branch of economics that focuses on improving fiscal, economic, and social conditions in developing countries. Its main goal as a branch of economics is to improvise the fiscal or the total revenue collected by a particular nation. Economic also, its goal is to improve the economic status of a particular nation, as well as their social conditions, their educational systems, and etc. And in short, development economics studies on how emerging nations or developing nations transform into more prosperous nations or into a developed nation. Now let's proceed to our main topic for today, which is economic growth versus economic development. These two have differences in terms of definition, concept, nature of approach, scope, term, applicability, measurement techniques, frequency of occurrence, and government aid. And let's first discuss their difference in terms of definition. By definition, economic growth, it is the positive quantitative change in the output of an economy in a particular time period. So positive quantitative change of the output. What the output means here are the products or services being produced or offered in a particular nation. If the size of those products increases, that means that that nation is experiencing economic growth or enjoying economic growth. On the other hand, economic development considers the rise in the output in an economy along with the advancement of HDI or Human Development Index, which considers a rise in living standards, advancement in technology, and overall happiness index of a nation. Economic development also talks about the output, the rise of the output or the products and services being produced in a nation, in a particular nation or country. But there are couples of terms or there are couples of information being added here, which includes advancement of technology. So that means that if a nation has more advanced technologies, that means that that nation is an economically developed nation, and that nation is experiencing economic development. And also, if there is an increase or rise in living standards, that means that that nation is really an economically developed nation. Then let's proceed to their difference in terms of concept. In terms of concept, economic growth has a narrower concept, while economic development has a broader concept. And now, in terms of nature of approach, the nature of approach of economic growth is quantitative, while economic development is qualitative. And now, in terms of scope, economic growth rise in parameters like GDP or gross domestic product, GNP or gross national product, FDI, and etc. What are these gross domestic product, GNP, and FDI? GDP are the products and services being produced in the border of a particular nation, regardless of the investors of the company or the company are foreign. As long as those products and services are being produced in a particular nation, in the border of a particular nation, that is included in the measurement of gross domestic product. However, GNP or gross national product lies on the products and services being produced or offered by country's citizens, regardless of where those citizens are located as long as they are citizen in that nation and those products are being produced either in their nation or in another nation, as long as they are citizen on that particular nation, those products, the value of those products and services are included in the measurement of gross national product. FDI, or foreign direct investment, if a parent company of a particular nation, foreign nation, invested in another nation and decided to build or establish another company in another nation, so that is foreign direct investment. And let's proceed to the scope of economic development. Its scope: rise in life expectancy rate, improvement in literacy rate, infant mortality rate, poverty rate, and etc. As you can see here, it talks about human. Yeah. If there is a rise in life expectancy rate, that means that a nation, a particular nation, is an economically developed nation. And if there is an improvement of literacy rate, that means that the educational system of a particular nation is very satisfying and has offered quality education. So this will result into an economically developed nation. And that nation is enjoying economic development. Also, infant mortality rate, if the infant mortality rate decreases, then that means that the health system of a nation is really, satisfying and really offers equality healthcare towards those people in that particular country or nation. And as well as poverty rate, it is, it is understandable that if the poverty rate decreases, so that means that that nation is an economically developed nation. And now let's proceed to the difference in terms of term. In terms of term, economic growth is short-term in nature, while economic development is long-term in nature. And now let's proceed to applicability. Economic growth is applicable on developing nations. What are those developing nations? Philippines, India, Indonesia, and many more developing nations. On the other hand, economic development is applicable on developed economies or countries like United States of America, United Kingdom, and etc. And now let's proceed to their difference in terms of measurement techniques. The techniques in measuring economic growth is through an increase in national income. If the national income or the total income of a particular nation increases, so that is an indication of economic growth. On the other hand, economic development, its technique on measuring economic development, or the technique in measuring economic development, is through an increase in real national income. What is this real national income? Say, the total income of a particular nation deducted by inflation. And now let's proceed to their difference in terms of frequency of occurrence. In terms of frequency of occurrence, economic growth usually occurs in a certain period of time. Certain period of time. This somehow supports the idea that since it only occurs in a certain period of time, so this means that it is only short-term in nature. However, economic development occurs in a continuous process. It occurs continually. And this supports the idea that it is long-term in nature since it happens continually. And lastly, their difference in terms of government aid. In economic growth, it doesn't need an intervention or support of the government. So in short, they are independent. While in economic development, it is highly dependent on the government intervention as it includes widespread policy changes, and without government intervention, it is not possible. So you can see here the differences between economic growth and economic development. And now let's talk about the similarities between economic growth and economic development. These two are similar in terms of their goal or aim because these two are aiming for human development. And both of them tackle about progress. From the word itself, growth, it indicates progress. From the word itself, development, it indicates progress. And these are the similarities of economic growth and economic development. And I think that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening and watching. God bless us all.